I'm Andrew Patterson from interest.co.nz and welcome into another of our business series. Today I'm with Ben Powles, General Manager at Fishpond.co.nz. Ben, thanks for joining us.
No problem, Andrew. It's good to be here.
So Ben, tell us a little bit about the business and your evolution, the evolution of Fishpond to this point.
Okay, yeah, we have been going now for about 8 years, and I think really a pretty good Kiwi success story. So we were started by Daniel Robertson, our founder, and he originally started the business in his spare bedroom. And within about 6 months, he'd expanded into the other 2 bedrooms in his room and the living room, and his wife said, "Get out." So moved into the first warehouse, and really from there we've just continued to grow to the stage now that we've actually in our 4th warehouse. So in terms of what the business was originally doing, focused on books and just sold books for the first couple of years, and then moved into movies or DVDs and CDs, and that was in the couple of years ago, after a couple of years, and then probably about 3 years ago, we decided to start expanding into other categories. So now we've got nearly 10 million products available to buy on the site, and just a huge range, obviously, within that 10 million. So toys is a big category for us, fragrances, perfume, electronics. We have around 60,000 bags on the site, and we're just constantly looking at more categories to add. We also expanded into Australia, so that was a huge move for the company. That was about 5 years ago.
Obviously, you operate in a very competitive space up against the likes of Amazon. How do you differentiate yourself from businesses like that?
You know, we are really focused on this part of the world. People say, how can you possibly compete with Amazon? And we tell them that, you know, we are doing that. Not only that, we actually guarantee to beat Amazon's price on every single product on the website, and that's a guarantee. We put that up on every page, and you know, we really stand behind that. And again, how can we do that? Because we're focused on this part of the world, and we have really good supply chain to this part of the world, good relationships with the local suppliers, and you know, I guess we're just much more focused on it, and it's a very powerful message to be able to say we guarantee to beat Amazon on any price.
And of course, you've got even logistical advantage, have you, where your offices are out here at the airport. Yep. So as the stuff's arriving, it's literally in your warehouse within 5 minutes.
That's right. We are, you know, we have a conscious decision to keep our warehouse by the airport. It's really important for us. That means when products are flying in, we can get them very quickly once they're cleared. And you know, we fly to Australia. We fly to 4 different states twice a day, every day into Australia, and we're really focused on hitting specific cut-off times to get our items onto those planes. And again, while we don't have next day delivery into Australia, it's free and it's very reliable, and you know, that's a key point for a lot of people.
And of course, when we look around your warehouse, you know, there's Australia Post bags there, so you know, you're all set up. You're actually, you know, even though you're based in New Zealand, you effectively could be an Australian operation from here.
That's right. I mean, you know, and we've looked at setting up something in Australia. And you know, to be honest, it's something we'll look at again, I'm sure, in the future. The reality is, from Auckland, we can get into Sydney and Melbourne within it's a 3-hour flight. It's actually the same as if we are in Sydney trying to get to Melbourne. It's a 3-hour flight as well. We have an advantage. It's the time zone works in our favour coming from here, and plus we can actually hit wider Australia a lot easier than if we were there. So. We think operating from here, it's obviously good for New Zealand and for the company, but it's the right decision for us at the moment.
You know, one aspect of your business that I found interesting and might surprise people is that your pricing adjusts as the currency adjusts. Yeah. So every 24 hours your prices change, either in the customer's favour or against them, depending on the currency. There aren't probably a lot of businesses that are repricing daily.
That's exactly right. I think so. One of the think that one of the perceptions we fight about is people think the dollar is strong, I need to go and buy offshore to take advantage of that. But what we're doing is we are constantly, as the dollar strengthens, we are dropping our prices because we're able to buy from our suppliers at that time at a better price. And yeah, when the dollar weakens, the reverse happens. But I think the point is that those savings are passed on immediately to our customers and those price changes. So the other thing for us is, we have suppliers all around the world, a lot in the US, a lot in the UK, some in Southeast Asia, obviously New Zealand and Australia. And all of those suppliers, wherever possible, we try and have them supplying us the same product, and that means they're actually competing with each other in different parts of the world. It's tough for the suppliers, it's great for our customers because they can take advantage of the currency change there, or if we get a better freight rate from the US versus from the UK, then that benefits the customer as well, and those things have been constantly adjusted. It also means that where we have multiple suppliers for the same product, if one supplier goes out of runs out of stock of that product, we can still sell it. The price just immediately adjusts to the next lowest supplier. So again, it's just backing up so that we've got constant supply of these products.
So Ben, you operate in a very dynamic environment, very fluid. The ground's always shifting from underneath you. How do you manage that process within a company like Fishpond?
Yeah, it is quite difficult, and I think working at Fishpond, when we have new team members come in, we say if you don't like change, this is not the right company for you. And you hear that a bit from a few companies, but for us, it's very different. The business changes a lot, and it's just really staying up with the trends and seeing what else is happening. Some of the big changes we've seen with some of the daily deal sites and the group buying sites, things like that. A lot of those we really see as complementary to our business. There's room on the internet, and I guess as a sales channel for a variety of different business models. And the reality is, in New Zealand and Australia, there's still a very small amount of commerce that's done on the internet, and so we think for more people just to start buying on the internet, it's a great thing. That if someone isn't buying on the internet, we've got them no chance of making them into our customer. If they're actually purchasing and understand that and comfortable doing that, then they suddenly become a target market for us. So but generally it's just keeping our eyes focused, and keeping up to date with the trends, I think.
Now, you've outgrown a couple of warehouses, and this is a business really that is all about logistical management. I'm thinking that the role technology must play in dealing with the logistics of all of that is obviously very critical.
Yeah, it's a huge part. We've got a big development team, and we're really focused on that as core business for us. Is I think a lot of customers see a website, and I think in terms of what they actually see, it's a really small percentage. It's almost like an iceberg, right? The bit you see is only a small percentage of what is actually behind it. And so for us, we have 10 million products on the site. We have to have constant price updates, stock updates for all of those things. And I think just making sure when we're adding new products, all of that information is correct, and of course there are always mistakes that happen and errors, but we're trying to just constantly minimize those, and then there's the integration with our freight suppliers and things like that, being able to track where our products are and understanding where our shipments are, things like that. It's very, very important. So there is a huge amount in the back end that runs that. I think that the average consumer wouldn't think about, and they don't need to, because from their point of view, can we get them the product? Can we get them a great price? The answer is yes, and that's all they care about. In the end, they shouldn't have to worry about it.
Customers are becoming a lot more critical in terms of delivery deadlines and those sort of things. How do you deal with the customer interface at Fishpond?
Actually, just totally by email. So we have made a conscious decision not to offer phone customer service, and part of that is really driven by keeping the costs down. If we're able to keep our costs down, we can sell things to people at a cheaper price. I think our customer philosophy our customer service philosophy probably is a bit different from some other companies that will have a 24-hour call centre, will have people sitting there waiting for your call. And ours is much more about self-service, and our philosophy, I guess, we think if someone has a problem with an order or something they'd like fixed, and they could choose between fixing it themselves, calling someone about it, or emailing someone about it, we think the majority of people would actually just want to be able to fix it themselves rather than either of those other two. And so we really focus on giving our customers the ability to change things as much themselves as they can. And a great example of that is if a customer's product doesn't arrive, they can actually go onto our website. They don't have to email anyone or do anything. They just do it all themselves and just say, look, my product isn't here. It was supposed to arrive, and I haven't got it. And we then give them the option to either refund the money themselves or to reorder it if they want to. And we look at it and say, well, we would be doing that anyway with an interaction. Why don't we just give that ability to the customer to do it themselves? And so a lot of our customer service is actually educating our customers to say, you've emailed us about this. In fact, you could just do it yourself, and it will take you a couple of minutes, and it's done.
In terms of Fishpond's company culture, of course, we know there's a certain standard cultural fit that goes with online companies. Do you tend to embody most of those aspects of the business that we know are pretty standard these days?
Yeah, I guess we have a few sort of cliche things that online companies have. We have a nice kind of games room for everyone to hang out in, but I think for Fishpond we make a conscious effort. We're at about 75 staff now, and we'll turn over 100 million this year, so we're a reasonable size now. But sort of probably about 3 years ago, we made the decision to actually let's act as if we're a big and grown up company.
What excites you about the future of this business and the potential for it to continue to grow?
Yeah, I think we look at our growth and our growth strategies, and we really have two separate strategies, and both of those are very exciting. And the first one is just continuing to expand our product range into our existing markets, so New Zealand and Australia, and some of those categories are really going really well. So we'll be launching. So I've mentioned some of the ones we've launched recently with sort of clothing, fragrances. We'll be launching into shoes very soon, and then ebooks is another good one for us. Digital music. So really, we look at Amazon. What are Amazon doing well? What do we think our customers will want, and what can we put down our existing marketing and distribution channels? So that's one. That's pretty exciting to look at the new products we'll be selling.
And from you, innovation is about how you look at those product extensions, those brand extensions. And one of the ideas you came up was for people who couldn't be bothered selling lots of items on Trade Me, they kind of package it up, send it to you. Just explain how that works and how successful that's been for you.
Okay. Yeah. So that's our Smart Sell initiative, and I guess. Yeah, it is aimed at second-hand items that people either they can't be bothered, or they don't want to sell it on Trade Me or eBay. And I guess we a couple of months ago, so we'll start this year, we looked at the selling online second-hand items. And the reality is that model hasn't changed since the internet started, effectively, which is, you get your item, you take your photo, you pay to list the photo and the item, and then interact with the seller and buyer. Hopefully the person turns up to pick up your item, pick it up and complete the purchase, or you have to go and post it. So quite clunky, and really, for a lot of people, not worth the hassle for lower value items. And we thought, well, we've got this great distribution channel, we've got a big market. So our model is that people just put items they want to sell, so anything, games, movies, music, and books, of course, put them in a box, and they send them to us. We come pick it up from them actually, and we then list all those products on the site. And when someone buys them, we take it from our warehouse and we ship it to the person. the other thing we do that I think takes a lot extra hassle is we actually take care of the pricing as well. So we know what these books are worth, brand new. And so if you send us a book and it's in really good condition, we'll list it for you at slightly less than the brand new price.
Best bit of advice for startups wanting to move into the online space, what would you recommend?
Yeah, I think just really understand your market, really and test your, don't think you know what the customers want. Test that as much as you can, and our philosophy, and I think it's it's an echo of some of the really great business internet businesses out there, is you've just got to launch something, get the feedback on it. I think there's a classic quote that says if you're not embarrassed by your first prototype or your first launch, you've launched too late. And I think as a company, we are not scared to put something out there knowing that it's not exactly right, get the feedback and then change it. So I think the worst thing you can do if you're sort of launching a new business or a new idea is to just think you've got to get it perfect before you launch it. I think that's just get it out there, get the feedback from the real customers and some people who are actually going to pay for it, and then turn that into a finished product.
And finally, Ben, where will this business be in 5 to 10 years' time? Where could you see it growing to over that time period?
Yeah, well, we're still, we still want to be based in New Zealand, and I think we just want to be a company right now where we're a New Zealand company. We've got building a lot of innovative IP and technology, and taking on some of the big, the big companies around the world, and we just want to be doing more of that. So operating in more countries, selling more products, and just be a really a great place for people to come and buy things.
Well, Ben, thanks for a bit of insight and background to Fishpond, an exciting business, and clearly one that you're enjoying being part of.
Yeah, it is. It's been a huge steep learning curve and steep growth curve for the company, but things are going really well, and I think the future's pretty bright.